Hey everyone, James Wilson here with BikeJames.com and Pedaling Innovations, and today I wanted to share the history of the ball of the foot position. It's one of these things a lot of riders take for granted but don't really know the history of, right? Like, how did we arrive at being on the ball of the foot as being the best spot for your foot when pedaling the bike? And not understanding that that assumption starts to lead to problems, and then you're trying to solve these problems without understanding, like, well, maybe, we were looking at the wrong thing in the first place, right? So where did this ball of the foot thing come from? If you look at it, it came from simply this. When the safety cycle, as we know it, which was invented about 125 some odd years ago, when it came out, people were looking at it saying, hey, that looks like running or walking. And since you push through the ball of your foot when you're running or walking, that's obviously how you want to power this bike as well. That's it, right? You literally had guys in bowler hats and handlebar mustaches throwing this theory out with no way to test it. But again, it sounds smart. You start getting the best cyclists in the world following this theory, and the best cyclists in the world are usually going to be successful despite themselves, not always because of themselves. And so you can still be very successful with this foot position. But again, is it the best? Did we ever study it? Did we ever test it and find out? And again, the answer is no. When you look at it, they never sat down and studied and actually confirmed that this is what you wanted to do. You just had an industry that started getting steam and started going, and all of a sudden then you have equipment and you've got coaching theories and you've got all these other things built around this ball of the foot position without ever taking the time to say, hey, was this even right in the first place? And so, in fact, when they look at one of the studies I came across was looking at the midfoot versus ball of the foot position and found that there was no difference in the power or efficiency of that. So the ball of the foot is not better than the midfoot position. And in fact, the midfoot position they found took the stress off of the calf and Achilles tendon, which are two sensitive areas that a lot of riders have problems with, and put it instead on the hips, which are the bigger, stronger muscles in the body. So, you could argue that that midfoot position is actually allowing for better, more efficient muscle recruitment than the ball of the foot position. So that would actually be a strike against the ball of the foot position from a movement principle standpoint. So, but again, when you understand this and you see, like, where did this come from? Why is this what we're using? You realize that it has no basis in science. In fact, I mean, honestly, the flat earth theory probably has more science behind it than the ball of the foot position, and also like pulling up on the backstroke, the other thing that you hear a lot with proper pedal stroke and foot position. But again, both of these things are directly used to help sell clipless pedals, because when you go to the ball of the foot, and this is the funny thing, people talk about engineering and efficiency and all these things, but it makes absolutely no sense from an engineering standpoint to try to apply pressure and force into a platform that is centered on a rotating axis through the center, right? Like, if you have a platform that rotates in the center, the best thing to do is distribute the pressure over the whole thing, not put one pressure point in the middle where any deviation off of perfect dead center is going to result in the platform tipping, right? And so this is one of the reasons that your toes tip down when you are on the ball of your foot, because it creates an unstable platform. As you apply pressure into that rotating platform, it rotates on you. And so it points your toes down. That's energy that's actually being lost and wasted and is not going into the crank arm. And then it also creates a problem where your foot is wanting to come off of the pedal. Well, how do you solve that? Well, again, if you're thinking that the ball of the foot is the only answer, then, well, you strap your foot to the pedal. If you strap your foot to the pedal, it's not going to come off. And that's where toe cages came from. That's why people started riding toe cages, because you could strap your foot to these small pedals and it would hold them on so that you could, again, get, it was a more stable platform than not having it. And so, or at least it created a more stabilized feeling on that unstable platform. But toe clips were kind of deadly, right? Like, you had to cinch them down super tight for them to work well. So tight that sometimes when you crash, they didn't come out. Like, people complain about, clipless pedals, you couldn't get your feet out sometimes. Like, toe cages were actually worse in a lot of instances. And so that's why when clipless pedals came out, that's again why they're called clipless pedals, because they are replacing toe clips. They don't have toe clips, so they're clipless. And so they were actually a safer alternative to your toe clip. But again, what's the problem that they're trying to solve? You have this platform that's rotating on you and your foot's trying to kick off of it and you're losing force and pressure going into the crank arm because of this. And so they're just trying to figure out how to attach your foot to the platform rather than how do we even the forces out and how do we stop that rotation in the first place. And so, and that's it. And that's where toe clips, that's where clipless pedals came from. That's where the whole theory of the ball of the foot came from. It all started with a misunderstanding of what was going on. Because remember, the thing with your bike is your foot is staying on the pedal. And since your foot doesn't come off the pedal, you don't want to push through the ball of your foot. You need to be able to apply pressure through the whole foot, right? So again, it's not about taking away pressure from the ball of the foot and giving it to the heel. It's about adding heel pressure. Why? What's wrong with adding heel pressure to the equation? Well, there's nothing. In fact, that's the way that your foot wants to stabilize. Once you add heel pressure to the equation, now you have that pressure on both ends of the platform that spreads the force out. You don't lose so much force in that rotating. You don't have to have your foot attached to the pedal to fight that. And so you solve all of these problems that really stemmed from a false assumption about the foot position on the bike and just a failure to study it properly and then apply what the research that was done actually says to pedals and the pedal stroke and what we're telling people. So again, you can find all the science at bikejams.com or pedalinginnovations.com, or you can just Google Flat Pedal Revolution Manifesto, and I'm sure you'll find somewhere to download it there. But all the science and all the stuff is in there. But again, that's our history, right? Like we're all, riders are riding around on their tiptoes because again, someone 100 plus years ago looked at it with no way to study it, no way to test it, and just made a theory, and everyone just ran with it. But again, when you look at the science, you look at the movement principles, you see that unfortunately it was a mistake and that there's a better way to approach it, which is what I've done with the Catalyst pedal and giving you that platform that allows you to attach both ends of your arch so you're able to stabilize your foot, stabilize that platform, and create a much better pedaling experience for your foot, and allows you to increase your power, your efficiency, your comfort. So many great things happen when you stabilize your foot properly and allow that foot to apply pressure into the platform more evenly. So anyways, again, you can check it out at pedalinginnovations.com and bikejams.com. And I'll talk to everybody next time.